Florida.
4, 3.
Space Shuttle Atlantis launches from Kennedy Space Center.
0 and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis as Columbus sets sail on a voyage of science to the space station.
Bordering the Pacific Ocean on the Emerald Isle Kodiak lies one of America's premier launch facilities, the Kodiak Launch Complex. It's sunrise here at the Cape as operations are underway for vehicle rollout.
Welcome to this edition of Inside SMC from over the waters of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
And here it is, the C-17 carrying the nation's next weather satellite for the United States Air Force touches down here at Vandenberg Air Force Base, California. It's sunrise here at the launch pad after a 3-hour transfer of the final DSP satellite. The next phase, the 17,000-pound encapsulated payload stack containing the DSP satellite will be hoisted onto the Delta IV Heavy.
We're flying over the Kodiak Launch Complex on the Emerald Isle of Kodiak, Alaska.
We're here at the Payload Processing Facility at the Kodiak Launch Complex. The team at the Space Development and Test Wing out of Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico, is preparing to launch the STP-S26 multi-payload mission into orbit. Let's check it out.
Heavy Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle launches the 23rd and final Defense Support Program satellite into orbit.
And once on orbit, will be the 7th satellite in the DMSP constellation.
We're here at the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center, home of the Human Spaceflight Payloads Office of the Space Test Program here in Houston, Texas. We're here at Moffett Field in Mountain View, California, as the Advanced Extremely High Frequency satellite is loaded onto the C-5, headed to the East Coast, to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida.
We're here at Mission Control Center, Houston, where the flight control team is flying the International Space Station.
We're here at Hurlburt Field, Florida, home of the 39th Information Operations Squadron, the Air Force's premier information operations and cyber training unit. 3 of the students have now transitioned to their operational unit here at the 92nd Information Operations Squadron in San Antonio, Texas.
Go Sippers.
The Atlas V rocket launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying the first SBIRS geosatellite into orbit.
We're here at Dodger Stadium for opening day of the 2013 Major League Baseball season. 150 men and women in uniform representing all branches of the service are ready to unfurl Old Glory for the national anthem.
I'm now on board the Zero-G aircraft as the STP experiments are being loaded and bolted down on this modified Boeing 727.
Now that the STP team is monitoring their experiments, let's have a little fun. The KMRSS Worthy, docked here at Pearl Harbor, is one of 2 ships involved in acquiring the tracking and telemetry data for the SBSS mission. The 24th Air Force is the newest numbered Air Force. This is the first ever unit designated for the sole purpose of cyberspace operations. We're here at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas, home of 2 of the 3 wings under the 24th. We're here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Tonight, the Los Angeles Kings host Military Appreciation Night. Let's head inside and meet tonight's heroes of the game.
As the sun rises at Complex 17 here at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, the Air Force preps a Delta II rocket for launch of the 5th modernized Global Positioning System 2RM satellite.
The Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, the largest indoor pool in the world. Here, astronauts are provided pre-flight training on all extravehicular activity on the International Space Station, such as retrieving science hardware on the STP experiment. From Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. A Delta II rocket launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying the latest GPS 2RM satellite. An Atlas V launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying the wideband global SATCOM satellite. An Atlas V launches from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida, carrying the Air Force's first AEHF satellite into orbit. The Atlas V and the mobile launch platform weigh over 1 million pounds. Traveling at a speed of 2 to 3 miles per hour, the rocket will take approximately 10 minutes to make its way 1,800 feet to the pad. As the sun rises here at KLC, we begin another day at the payload processing facility as the final 2 satellites are mated on the rocket of choice. The STP-S26 mission will be flying on a Minotaur 4 rocket, contracted by Orbital Sciences Corporation. The top of their respective classes go on to train in the fighter trainer, the T-38, to learn more advanced skills used in aerial warfare. An Air Force Minotaur rocket prepares for launch here at Wallops Island, Virginia, carrying the TACSAT-3 satellite into orbit, providing the latest imaging technology to the warfighter.
Ignition, we have liftoff of the Minotaur.
And here it is at 2:50 a.m. The C-5 containing the first Sivers geosatellite touches down here at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, Florida. We're quite honored here as the Los Angeles Clippers visit Los Angeles Air Force Base as the NBA season finally tips off.
We all come from different backgrounds, but you have one common goal in mind. How can you equate that?
I mean, the military is unbelievable.
If there's one thing you'd like to say to everybody that's out there that's been waiting and waiting for your season to start.
All I want to say is that I'm happy that they bear with us throughout the tough time and the extended offseason.
What does it say about being a player on a team like this? The military, you know, we all come from different backgrounds as well, but you all have one common goal in mind. How could you equate that?
I mean, it's important for us as athletes to give back. I mean, these are the people that are really putting in the work and doing the things that really count for this country.
It's one thing to say the dialogue, and it's another thing to say it the way it's supposed to be said. And I wanted to make sure I really represented that authenticity of what a combat controller is in the Air Force.
I come from a military background. My family was in the military, first Cav. His father before him was a Green Beret.
It just makes it feel way more legitimate when you walk onto set and there's 100 real soldiers as opposed to 100 actors. It's a real connection to real life.
So let's talk about your training and how you did some of your research to play. You were a captain and then you were major.
We spent a few days out there, stayed overnight with the troops and learned all about it. And you know, all the basics of learning how to handle a gun, how to shoot the weapon.
Personally, what it's like for you to still, when you're acting now, to put on a uniform.
I was born to do this.
Well, Richard, this is our first year of Air Force Base today. So to close out this year in review, we'll take one last look at the places we've been and the people we've seen.
And a few hairstyle changes along the way, right, Krista?
Very funny. We're here at Peterson Air Force Base.
The Dodger Stadium.
We're at beautiful Keystone Resort, Colorado. The helicopter, Army 1.
We're coming to you from the world-famous Walk of Fame in Hollywood, California. American Idol. Air Force Space Command has one of its own from Los Angeles Air Force Base, auditioning.
From F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming, thanks for joining us. And that'll do it from the Pacific Collector here in Oahu. We'll take it back to the studios.